Have you ever found yourself in this situation? You genuinely care about someone. You make the effort. You check in first, show up, and give them your best. But strangely, the more you try, the more distant they become. Days pass without a response, and you start questioning everything. Did I do something wrong? Why do they ignore me when all I do is care? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The people who love you the most often seem to ignore you the most. But it's not because they don't care, it's because human nature is wired this way. Today we're diving deep into the psychology and Stoic wisdom behind this painful paradox. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why it happens and how to take back control. Let's begin. 1. The paradox of familiarity, why distance creates desire. Imagine buying your dream car. In the beginning, you're obsessed. You admire every detail, keep it spotless, and take it for joyrides just because. But over time, something shifts. You stop noticing the shine, the leather seats, the sleek design. It blends into the background of your life. This is what happens in relationships. When someone is always present, their value becomes less obvious. Familiarity can lead to indifference. The very thing you cherish most can become invisible simply because it's predictable. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to be mindful of impermanence. Everything in life is fleeting, including the people we love. When we embrace this truth, we stop taking their presence for granted and learn to appreciate them deeply. 2. Love isn't always loud. It's often found in silence. Think back to your childhood. Maybe your parents weren't the type to say, "I love you" often, but they showed it in 1,000 other ways. By providing, by protecting, by always being there. People express love differently. Some love loudly through words and gestures. Others love quietly through actions and presence. Just because someone isn't expressing love the way you expect doesn't mean they don't care. Seneca wisely said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Instead of assuming someone's silence means they don't care, take a step back. Their way of loving might just be different from yours, and that's okay. 3. Ignoring you might be a test, not a rejection. Ever had someone suddenly pull away? It might not be rejection. It might be a test. Some people unconsciously create distance to see how you react. Do you panic, beg for their attention, or do you remain calm, unshaken? People sometimes test your emotional stability without even realizing it. They want to see if your sense of self-worth is built on your own foundation, or if it crumbles without their validation. Marcus Aurelius tells us to dwell on the beauty of life. Instead of agonizing over why someone is ignoring you, focus on building a life so full that their absence doesn't shake you. True confidence is when their silence no longer disturbs your peace. 4. Love shouldn't require constant reassurance. Have you ever been in a relationship where you constantly had to reassure the other person of your feelings? You say, "I love you" over and over, not because you want to, but because they need to hear it to feel secure. But true love doesn't need constant validation. When trust exists, words become secondary. Actions speak louder. Seneca teaches us that true strength comes from within. If someone truly loves you, their actions will show it. You won't have to keep convincing them. A relationship built on trust doesn't require constant reassurance. The fear of vulnerability can push people away. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the people who love you the most seem to withdraw right when you need them the most? This often happens because vulnerability is terrifying. Letting someone in means giving them the power to hurt you, and not everyone is ready for that level of exposure. People may pull away not because they don't care, but because they don't know how to handle their emotions. They fear hurting you or revealing their own weaknesses in the process. The Stoics teach that emotional resilience is key to growth. Vulnerability doesn't need to be feared, nor should it push people apart. It's a bridge, not a barrier. 6. Emotional walls are built by fear, not love. Sometimes the person who loves you most may seem distant because they've built emotional walls around themselves. These walls aren't meant to shut you out. They're meant to protect their own vulnerabilities. Fear of rejection, fear of being hurt again. These fears can cause people to withdraw even in the most loving relationships. Their distance isn't about rejecting you, it's about shielding themselves from pain. Seneca encourages patience with others. Recognize that everyone has their own fears and insecurities. Instead of taking their distance personally, approach them with empathy, not frustration. When you do, you might help them tear down their walls. 7. Self-reflection, the key to understanding distance. When someone pulls away, it's easy to assume it's about you. But have you ever considered that they might be dealing with their own struggles? Sometimes people distance themselves because they're going through personal challenges. Their withdrawal is not a reflection of your worth. It's a sign that they need space to work through their own issues. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others, only our response to them. Instead of reacting emotionally, take time to reflect with clarity and objectivity. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is the space they need to heal. 8. Some love is selfish, and that's okay. Not all love is pure. Some people love you not for who you are, but for what you do for them. Their affection is conditional, based on their needs being met. While this can be painful, it's a reality we must accept. Seneca reminds us that not all love is unconditional, and that's okay. Recognize selfish love for what it is and don't invest too much energy into relationships where love is only given when convenient. 9. The more you chase, the more they pull away. Ever notice that the harder you pursue someone, the more they retreat? Love works like a butterfly. If you chase it, it flies away. But if you stay still, it may land on your shoulder. The law of reverse effort tells us that when we stop chasing, we become more valuable in the eyes of others. Instead of seeking validation, focus on yourself. When you master self-control, you naturally command respect and admiration. 10. The most powerful love is the one you give yourself. In the end, the most important love is self-love. The love from others is wonderful, but it's not enough if you don't first value yourself. When you love yourself, rejection and disappointment lose their power over you. You stop seeking external approval because your sense of worth comes from within. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you master the art of self-love, you'll find peace regardless of how others treat you. Final thoughts. Love is complex, but wisdom is simple. Choose peace, choose self-respect, and above all, choose yourself. If this video resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe to the Stoic Guide for more life-changing wisdom.